So thank you everyone for joining us tonight. My name is Stephanie and I'm the program manager for the Gardena Valley Japanese Cultural Institute. We have a really nice program today. We're going to be learning how to write haiku and senryu. And I'd like to introduce our teacher for the night. This is Genie Nakano. She's an award-winning author and writer. She's been published in many newspapers and journals and has won awards also in haiku and tanka. So Jeannie, I'll hand it over to you to get started. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. So, can I put leave meeting there? Because your thing is right there and it says this meeting is being recorded. And how do I take that off?
We can leave that on, but you can go ahead and share screen if
Okay.
you wanna.
Okay. So I'd like to say hello to everyone, Vera and Joe and Tim and Naomi and Nancy and Sono. I'm glad to see you again. Emmy, I sure hope you come. And Esther, I don't know you. All I do is C and E. If you'd care to, I'd love it. Oh, now I'm gonna let Emmy come in by hitting the admit. And I hope she's coming in. Hi, Emmy. I think that's Emmy. Okay. And Esther, I hope everyone can show themselves. I'd love to see your lovely faces. We can communicate better that way. So I'd like to ask a question. What intrigued everyone to go into taking, Vera, I know you were saying that you thought it would help you in a more meditative aspect. And it's true. Haiku is similar to a meditation because the essence of meditation is to be in the here and now, right? To be present, or that very popular, wonderful word, mindful. So haiku is is all about being present, okay? That's how we write a beautiful haiku, by seeing what is right in front of us, by being in the here and now and recording it like a snapshot, like a picture. So, Emmy, that's a good way of wanting to be in haiku. Anyone else have any reasons why they wanted to take the haiku class? Oh, good. Thank you, Nancy.
I'm an artist and I do my own cards. And sometimes I do them with a special thought in mind that I don't wish to be long or windy or wordy. I just would like to take the essence of what I'm trying to say and make it clear. And I think that haiku offers me that opportunity, and I don't feel that I'm very good at it.
All right, it does offer that opportunity. I've done it. I like to take pictures and make them into a card and send them to people in with a haiku or a tanka. If anyone's Sono, you took my tanka class here. She knows what it's about. So that's an excellent reason to want to write haiku. Anyone else have something to add? Don't I know you, Joe?
You probably do. Your sister and I went to school together. She was on the cheerleading squad. I was on watching the cheerleader squad. And we have been knowing each other, oh gosh, I must be close to 55 years.
Beverly Toyama?
Huh?
Beverly Toyama?
Beverly?
Oh, I'll have to tell her. Wow,
Yeah.
I'll write your name down. That's
Yeah.
good. Washington. You're from Washington.
Well, actually, I'm in South Carolina.
Oh, but the school was in Washington.
Oh, the school is in Seattle, yes.
Seattle. Wow, that's great.
Yeah,
Right.
she felt that I might be interested in this because I love to write and um, have published a few books, but I'd like to know some other art forms in
Oh,
writing.
great. Yeah. Thank you.
Mhm.
And does anyone else have anything to add? Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is share screen something with you that, okay. So I hope you all have a notebook with you tonight, right? We all do. And if you don't, please take the time out now to get a notebook and a pen and paper. I'll give you 10 seconds. No, I'll give us a little minute because while the rest are getting their pens and papers, I want you to just read what I have up here. Um, let's see, how do I get this all the way down? So here's some dates. Okay. That Basho was in the 16th century. Kobayashi Isa was in the 17th century. These are your most famous haiku writers. Chioni, Vera was in your shiatsu class. She's here right now.
Hmm.
And Chioni, the only woman that I have up here in haiku, was I don't have her down, but she's later. And then Masaoka Shika, he is the man that actually changed the name, gave the name haiku to haiku. That didn't come around till the 19th century. Prior to that, it was called hoku. And then we have here Jack Kerouac, and I think most of us know him if you're around my age. He was in the beat generation of all the beats. And during that time, haiku was, we can credit the beats for making haiku popular to the United States because many of the so-called Dharma bums were writing and exploring haiku. And then we have the 7 keys to writing haiku right here. And I'll get back to that later. I'll put that back up. But there are some right now, I'll just kind of breeze through them. It's form, descriptive images, a season word, to be in the here and now, feeling and showing, not telling. I'll go into that later. A surprise in it, in a haiku. It doesn't always have to be there, but it usually is because if you're really observant in your life, you get surprises every day. You'll see something a different way, and it's surprising. It's like, it's in haiku, it's called the aha moment, the surprise. And that 7, haiku is very compassionate, and you will find that when you read it. My teacher that I'm studying with now, I'm writing renku, which is the beginning of haiku. It was renku. And out of haiku, out of renku came the haiku. Okay. And anyway, my teacher, David Lanoy, he's the university professor in Louisiana. He says that love is haiku. Haiku is all about love. And I argued with him for a moment, but when you really study haiku, that's what it is about: compassion, compassion for everything around us in the world. Okay, so up here, we're going to go away from this. And like I said, we could come back to it later. Did I give you enough time? Let me know. Okay. So to me, after I've been reading tons of books on what haiku is, because it gets rather elusive at times, especially when you read a bunch. But I found these two that I really like, and that it is a way of being in the world with awakened open heartedness, awareness of being, mindful of the ordinary moments of our lives. That I've come to call Haiku Mind. And this is written by Patricia Donegan. If you can look her up, she has a lot to say and a lot to give. Then I was talking about the Dharma bums, the beat generation that captured America's attention. Allen Ginsberg wrote this, that haiku is 3 lines that make the mind leap. A good one, he said, lets the mind experience a small sensation of space, which is nothing less than God. As many spiritual practices seek to do, the haikus spare yet acute noticing of the immediate and often ordinary, ground the reader in their pure awareness of now. And that's pretty big, but I love drama. And it really does, if you write a haiku, it's got the leap is the surprise, the juxtaposition of different images that you may not think even meet. And I'll just say one example right now. The piano's wandering melody. Dad's gone. That one that I wrote years ago after my father died was published in many magazines because it has that leap. You're listening to the piano. I was listening to the piano, and all of a sudden I started bursting out into tears, and I thought of my father. And then there's Basho. He says, an old pond, a frog jumps in, the sound of water. So that one I think everyone's familiar with, right? Are you? Just kind of wave your hand at me if you knew that poem. It's one of the most popular poems of haiku in the world, I would say. It's been translated into English 100 times. There's actually a book written. So do I have it? Anyway, he was the man that actually wrote a book of how, yes, Hiroko Sato, it was a woman, wrote 100 frogs because this one poem could be translated 100 different ways, if not more. And now that we're on that subject, the idea of translating a Japanese haiku into English is virtually impossible because Japanese is so different from English, right? We can get the essence of it, and that's the most important. And so when it can't be translated in Japan, the classic haiku is written in the 5-7-5 form. In English, it oftentimes sounds so stilted when we try to do that formula. So today, the Haiku Society and most American people will tell you, forget about the 5-7-5. You can practice it and have fun with it and try it, but the essence of haiku is not that little formula. And today, even in Japan, they're not sticking to that formula. There's many different modern haiku poets, and one haiku group is pushing forward the gendai form of haiku, which does not stick to that 5-7-5. So that's why most, if you get a haiku book of modern poets. If you subscribe or join any haiku groups in America, they are not sticking to that 575. 575 syllables. Yeah, that the 5757 sounds. So we won't be doing that in here for our haiku, nor do they in most of America. In India, haiku is becoming very popular. So that's what I was thinking, that haiku will make you make things leap. They'll connect juxtapositions, just like we have that ability in our brain, in our mind, to automatically make patterns and connections. That happens in the haiku, okay? Because it's a natural way of thinking. And really, when you look at it, and I will show you some of what I mean, children are great haiku poets. In fact, they're my favorite. I found a book a long time ago. I gave it to my mother, and it was haiku from children, and it's amazing. They just see the world the way it is. So we'll take that away for now. I hope you got the key forms to write in haiku. That is the form, descriptive images, seasons word, and the season word is, my speaker was acting weird. The season word, what the season word means is a kigo. So usually a haiku has a kigo in it, a season word, a reference. And why use a kigo? Because it's a connection. It's easily connected to everyone. If I say Christmas tree, that's my kigo. You know we're in winter. You may, it brings messages of, I've got to go buy a Christmas tree. I should be getting Christmas presents. It puts us into a mood that we all can join with. Also, the word, these kigos are powerful, called the power of a haiku, or the secret weapon, as Patricia McMillan refers to a kigo. The secret weapon of the haiku is the kigo, or the season word. Just like when I'm going to use the word a rose in haiku, already it's going to say red, perfume, soft velvet, love, romance, peace, that one kigo. And I was looking for my kigo book. There are kigo books in Japan, or dictionaries that just list your kigos, and they go by season, humanity, animals, plants, and the plants will be listed in seasons. Your share screen stops you. Listed in the categories, okay? And you could even look online when you're writing your haiku and look up kigo, and they'll list you a whole list of kigo, okay? Or you could even buy one of the, I had the book. It's by William Higginson. And it's about that thick of just kigo and little poems representing the kigos, the seasons, and the list. And they're very good for prompting you to write a haiku.
Jeannie,
Yes.
someone's asking, how do you spell Kigo?
Oh, Kigo. Gee, I didn't see that.
It was in the chat, but it's okay. I can let you know when there's a
Oh.
question.
Okay, so that's 3, the season word, kigo. Okay, and then the here and now, we talked about that, how to be present right now, to look, to be open to the world around you, see clearly what is there, the aha or the surprise, and express the moment in a few words, one breath. And a description of the haiku is a poem that can be said in one breath. That's about how you.
Alexa, turn off the timer.
Yeah. So that would be a way to determine, is your haiku the length that it should be? Can you say it in one breath? When you perform it, of course, you can take your pause and maybe do your motions. That will take more than one breath, but to write it, one breath. And then the element of compassion. Okay, so I'll take this off right now. We may come back to it later, but I'll take it off right now. And I'll stop share, and then I'll see all of you. Hi. Any questions so far? Okay, so now we're going to just do something for fun to get us. Let me see. Okay, just take your pencil and your paper and this is just a tool to help you get your writing skills, your little writing muscles going. And you could do it every day with a different letter right now, and stick to consonants because vowels are tricky. And you're just going to write down a word that starts with B as fast as you can. Just do it in a horizontal thing and write and start now. Okay, so we'll give you about a minute and a half. I'm going to go get my timer. Just write as fast as you can anything that you're thinking about. In fact, try not to think. Starting with the letter B, please don't use any gerunds. Oh no, you could go ahead, use a gerund. That's for my next exercise, you can't. So for 1 minute, just write as fast as you can any word that begins with B. Okay, that's a minute. A little longer. Was that easy for you? So we want to think, we want to work spontaneously in a haiku. The other one didn't work. It really was a minute. I'm not cheating. As Basho says, working spontaneously. There's no separation between what you say and what you write down. So you just write what you see. Don't judge yourself. Don't say, oh, that's not the right word. Just write it when you're starting a haiku. Just write what you see. Okay, so does anyone want to share what they came up with in the bees? You don't have to. Okay, let's skip that one. So just see what you came up with. Yes, Nancy, thank God.
Bell, blue, belong, bottom, black, bad, brook, band, broom, bull.
That's nice. Yeah, you see, you could even use that as a prompt, because you spontaneously thought of that word. It has some meaning to you. I didn't ask you to say it. It just, so you could even play with that as a prompt when you go for a haiku that you're writing.
Mm-hmm.
Those kind of things are fun. And see if you could get faster with it every day. Take another consonant and see what words you come up with, and see perhaps even a connection of that word in your feeling. Okay, another thing that we'll do to kind of get your mind thinking about connections. Because one thing I was saying in haiku, the juxtaposition or the way things are connected are what really make a haiku sing. I gave you an example of the piano, and then all of a sudden my father came in, or just the way we put things in the haiku changes the whole meaning. I'll just read to you what Patricia McMiller, a really beautiful teacher of mine, and I do have her book. If you need a book to help you with haiku, she's a great teacher and a great artist. She has beautiful illustrations in most of her book. In this one that she doesn't, but she has a whole book of illustrations. She does things like this. Anyway, I'll just quote you what she did say about juxtapositions. Frequently, haiku are created using two images juxtaposed, that is put together in 3 lines. Charles Trumbull, who was the editor of the Modern Haiku, a really good man, has defined haiku as a brief verse about a moment that makes a specific reference to season and juxtaposes the 2 concrete images. Although a haiku is written in 3 lines, it is composed of 2 images. And sometimes the kigo is on 1 line as an image. So I'll just read you 2 examples of how they're juxtaposed in a different way. Autumn evening, on a bare branch, a crow settles down. So notice where the autumn evening was. Or, on a bare branch, a crow settles down, autumn evening. So that changed the whole feeling. And haiku plays with putting things in different orders. And you may write something and you think it's not very good, but just change the order of it and it becomes something meaningful. And let's just play this right now. Okay, you have your pen and paper. Before I start giving you a timer, do you have any questions? Okay, so what I want you to do, you're going to write 3 words. And like I said, the verb, I would like it to be no gerunds. And a gerund is something that ends in a ing. Let's keep that out right now because that gets confusing. It's actually a present participle, and sometimes it looks like a noun. So just your verbs, keep them to just the root verb, okay? So on your paper, you're going to write one adjective. I'm not going to time you. I mean, we could think of an adjective. Everybody knows what an adjective is, right? Okay. I wasn't good in grammar.
Does it have to start with a B?
No. Okay, thank you. Phone?
Yeah.
Phone? Yeah, okay, thank you. No, it doesn't have to start with a B. Just any adjective. So just an adjective that comes to your mind. Okay, we got it. Just wave your hand if you don't wave your hand, and I'll keep waiting for you. Okay, keep going. Let's keep going. One adjective. Don't think too hard, kids. I'm sorry, I call everybody kids. That's another thing in haiku. It's best to be a kid. Keep that open mind of a child. That's why I love haiku. I was doing COVID, I was writing all these miserable long poems about I was suffering and all this kind of stuff. And now that it's over, I said, hey, it's haiku time, I'm not going to write any long poems for a while or short stories. It's haiku. Okay. So we got our adjective. Wave your hand. Do you have your adjective? Nancy, do you have your adjective? Okay, yes. All right. Now write a noun, one noun. And don't try to make it connect. We're not writing stories right now, just a noun. Just something quickly that comes to your mind. As Basho says, the essence of haiku is to be spontaneous. I should time you, but I'll be kind today. Let me just read off what Basho really said. When composing a verse, let there not be a hair's breadth separating your mind from what you write. Composition of a poem must be done in an instant, like a woodcutter felling a huge tree or a swordsman leaping at a dangerous enemy. I like that. Okay, so we have our noun. And the last one is a verb. Come on, Basho. Emmy, you better come back here. I saw her walking through the bamboo garden. I can't hear you. You're muted.
I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Can you?
Okay. Did you get the adjective and the
Oh,
noun?
oh, sure. But how do I get my picture out of there? So
What,
you
you
don't
don't-
see me walking away.
Well, because you were walking away, so I saw you walking away.
No, but how did you see me? Oh, can't I take a break?
Oh, yeah.
No, I have something in the oven.
Oh, I don't care. I was just teasing you, Emmy.
Well,
You can
thank you.
you can take
Okay.
a break. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
but if you want to hide yourself, you just you go over view and then you hit it and then it says show self. Would
Where
just
does it say view? You know, I'm not. Where does
it's
it say
okay. Well,
today?
okay, on your picture, you just go into the corner, I think your right hand corner, and there's 3 little dots and you hit it, and then it says mute, stop video, chat, show self. Well, then hit that so that you won't show yourself.
Unmute. No, that's not it.
No, it'll
Oh, it says
say,
stop video, stop ad, no, hide self view.
yeah, you show self view or you'll hide yourself.
No, I've got Joe in there.
Okay, but you don't have to. Okay, so the last one, kids, okay, get ready,
Ready?
is a verb. Okay, now this
A
is
verb? I thought we did
verb. Did you do the verb already? Okay, so let's do this
Wasn't-
now.
Wasn't see a verb? Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know you interrupted me, so I don't know. I'm just joking.
Sorry. I have a big mouth.
That's okay. Okay, so now we have our adjective and our noun and the verb. Okay, now I want you to take the noun, the verb, and put it first. Now I want this written horizontally. So you put your adjective there and your noun and your verb horizontal, like we're writing a haiku. Okay, or is that vertical? Excuse me, vertical. So it'll be adjective, noun, and verb. We're still writing it in the 3, line 1, line 2, line 3. So this time on line 1, you're going to put the verb first.
Oh, I see.
Okay, and then you're going to just change those words. You already have your words. You don't have to do anything. Put the adjective next. And then put the noun last. Okay, now that should be easy because we already have it together. Okay, now the third one is to put the noun first and the verb second and the adjective last. Okay, you see how different that is?
Mhm.
Just moving it around, you said something completely different. So I'll read you mine, and someone, if you're brave enough, can read yours, but I'll read mine first, okay? So I said, pretty girl, run. Then I said, run, pretty girl. And the last one I said was, girl, run pretty. Okay, you see how much that changed it? Just the moving it around changed the whole essence of the haiku. So does anyone, I'd like to hear someone else's. Thank you, Emmy.
You want me to read mine?
Yeah, read all 3 of them, please.
Precious tree leap. Leap, precious tree. Tree leap, precious.
Nice, yay. This is the way we wave in some of my poet.
That's how they wave in Japan.
Oh, that's true. And this is the way they do it in New
Bye.
York. Because I go to these, these slam groups and stuff. And some of them go like this here, but in New York, they go like this. This is applause in New York. Being cool, I guess. I don't know. So we could do the Japanese style. So anyway, being serious, it really does change the essence of the poem. And when you've written your haiku, just if you don't like it, move it around a little bit and see what happens. Sometimes it'll amaze you by just changing the order of the sentence. Okay. So that's about juxtaposition. And I'm going to read you in more detail of what the 7 characteristics or sources or needs, what a haiku should have. We talked about form. So for now, even though I said, yes, we are doing it as modern haiku poets, and in Japan, it's only 1 line, but they have a way, they have with their grammar to separate, with ya and yo and different things. We need to write it in 3 lines to understand it for now. Okay, so write it in 3 lines. That's the form. You need to make it a breath. And usually it's 5-7-5, but as I said, we won't have to adhere to that, but we want to keep the concept of spontaneity and a breath, because your breath, you are right there in the moment. And don't go spilling out into a whole journal and a huge novel. Then I talked about an image. That's the key, our images. That's really a key to haiku. And I don't mean just image that you use your eyes with. The image is with smell, touch, taste, hearing. So you would use these in your haiku. The smell of something, the fragrance, the sound of a bird, the sound of running water, the feel of the sun on your shoulders, or the cold of an open, cold room. Okay, so your images are a sketch, a scene, like a snapshot. And it's so great that haiku says, do it in a breath, because you're gonna go down deep into your subconscious to pull out this, and you can't pad it with a lot of words. It comes from the images inside you, and we have them all. Like the Basho poem, Old Frog in a Pond, Splash, the sound of water. I'm going to just read you some children's haiku using the images, and just to illustrate how beautiful children write. And it's good if you get your grandchildren to write haiku. They have a blast with it. I used to do that with my grandchildren, and they were great, really great. Anyway, here's one that's been published by Uriah Muhammad. Raindrops fall, wet and cool. Leaves spread full. He's 7 years old, from the United States. And a spider web, a thread of silver woven by the wind. You see that silver, you feel the wind, you're being weaved in it, all kinds of images, by Carlos Tunruez, age 11, from Mexico. And here's one from a classic, Yusan Buson. He's one of the poets that I listed at the beginning, who is responsible for the classic nature of haiku and who we all revere. Okay. 1716 to 1783. Evening breeze. Water splashes against a blue heron's legs. The image, the feeling of water against your legs. The evening breeze. Okay. And then number 3, the kigo, or the season word. And like I said, oh, we don't have that time. Okay, so next week we'll do that. We'll explore the kigo a little more, all right? So you want to, for now, not all, your senryu, the other form of haiku, the brother or sister, it doesn't even use a kigo, the season word, as I said, kigo. It's just about humanistic subject, like the homeless man sips his styrofoam cup empty. Well, I just made that up right now. But you see how it has nothing about nature in it. So right now, that is the definition of a senryu. No kigo, and they are often comical and sarcastic. Okay, so that was number 3, the kigo. Number 4, the here and now. And we all know what that's about. Because right now it's something that everyone wants to do because the world is so fast. So haiku brings us back to that because it's the nature of it. When we slow down, we can catch the moment in a haiku. We can relax and appreciate things more. Basho's idea is, in a nutshell, is a haiku is what is happening in this moment. The best haiku are written from real experience in the moment. That's true, but I have written things from a dream, from my imagination. I have a kind of a vivid imagination and I use it in my haiku. So there are rules and you can always, well, as Basho said, you go by your own. You can learn from the masters, but you have your own way. I'll find his quote next week. And we know what kigos are. Like a poinsettia would be a winter kigo, even though mine's growing really tall right now in the summer. But
Excuse me,
really, yeah.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the class was this Friday and then the 16th.
Stephanie, do you have something to say about that?
No, it's only on Wednesdays, so the next class is on next Wednesday, same time, 6 o'clock.
Oh, so it's only on Wednesdays. Okay, because I don't know, I had those dates down. June 2nd, June 4th, June 16th. Did I
No,
read it wrong?
June 2nd, June 9th, June 16th.
Oh, okay. Maybe I read the 4th wrong. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Sona.
Yeah.
Okay, and number 5, feeling. Haiku is known to sketch nature, but also a good haiku moves the reader feeling in some way. So you will want to paint a good picture of what the feeling is. You won't just say, I felt lonely. Maybe you might want to put it like this haiku. Sitting on the beach, a hermit crab stuck in a bottle. Now that sounds pretty lonely to me. So that says it more than I'm lonely. You want to use words that show how you feel lonely or show how you feel sad. Not just tell me. That's kind of, you understand that, right? Yeah, okay, good. The next one was, I said, the surprise or the aha moment. Aha, oh, really? Yeah. We must be awake to our world when our mind is here and not asleep or crowded by thoughts we can see more clearly. Sometimes we're surprised by this discovery. This is clear seeing. This is haiku. Haiku is the experience of catching the moment, like hearing the splash of the frog that Basho talked about, jumping into the water before it's gone, the surprise that takes our breath away. That is the surprise. And a lot of times, the reason why things are funny is because they are a surprise. Haiku can be funny. Here's one by Buson, who I said was another classic poet. Hit by a raindrop, the small snail closes up. Hit by a raindrop, the small snail closes up. Okay. And the last thing that you hope that you can get in your haiku, 7 things in those 3 little lines, is compassion. Seeing and writing haiku is a way to practice care and compassion, and a reminder to love nature as well as people. Haiku is a way to remember how everything is connected in our world. And if we feel connected, we won't harm things, but rather care for them. The Dalai Lama said that a good way for kids to learn compassion is to teach them to care about insects, to respect insects. If you can learn to care about something that is strange looking, tiny, and not easy to relate to, then you can realize that it shares the same life with human beings. The frog that Basho spoke of, and Isa, he's my favorite haiku poet. I hope you can go home and look up some Isa. Here's one of his. Kobayashi Isa, 1763 to 1827. Don't hit the fly. He prays with his hands and with his feet. Don't hit the fly. He prays with his hands and with his feet. He's my favorite. I hope that you can, I shouldn't partialize you like that because just your homework really, in order to write a good haiku, we should read other artists, other haiku writers. I just happen to like Isa because if you, and read about their life too, all these poets, they have fascinating lives. Like Isa's life is so tragic. And every one of them, like Basho, who's the one that is said to be the one that changed haiku, which was called a renga to a hoku to a haiku, was a very interesting samurai background and went around northern Japan and recorded his haiku in a book. So we're coming to an end. Are there any last questions?
Number 3, season word.
Uh-huh.
I need that again.
Oh, okay.
I can't read my notes.
Yeah, a season word is just what it says, except in Kigo, it doesn't say it. It's really a Kigo. I prefer to call it a Kigo, and some of the American poets are trying to say, let's just call it a season word. but I like to call it a kigo. It is a season word. So you would use, like I said, the poinsettia to talk about put it in your haiku, and everyone would know that you're speaking of winter, or better yet for us, because like I said, my poinsettia is really like a tree right now. I could see it over there. Snow. We would know that's winter. However, in Australia, it's not, because
I
Australia is
see,
winter.
I see.
Go ahead, Emmy. Yeah, you get it. So the
I think
season
I get
word. And a season could be the 4th of July holiday. That's a season word, even though
Oh,
it's
you're
not a
talking
plant.
about spring, autumn, summer.
Right.
That season.
Yeah.
Season. I see. I
So
see.
try to use that.
I see. I see.
It can be humanistic. It could be an animal that represents a season. You'd have to study what the Kigo are in, maybe look it up, and they'll tell you in categories.
Oh, what
Spring,
Kiko is.
winter, summer, or animal, plant, human. See what else? Animal, event. They come in seasons, like Christmas comes an event July 4th. Next week we'll work on Kigo more, because we'll understand it better, and we'll create our own Kigo.
Okay.
That might be something to really do. So anyway, I want you to do one thing before we leave, and it's write down. I didn't put it up there, but look up tinywords.com, and they give you a new haiku every single day if you subscribe. And they're really quite nice, and they're modern. They're all modern. They give you the haiku, and then you hit it, and then it'll tell you about the author, and then you can write and say why you like it, and you'll see all these discussions. It's fun. Another thing that I'd like you to do is look on the internet, or go to a bookstore, or go to the library and check a book of haiku out. I recommend the classics, because you can get the modern ones on Tiny Words, or there's another one where you could get the modern ones, haikuuniverse.com. They'll send you one every day. The guy that does it, I was in his thing called Cobalt Poets, and he's kind of like a comedian. No, he really is a comedian. And so his haiku are funny. And the Tiny Words are more classic. But look up a book, and you could, the internet's great. I know I'm talking too much, right, Stephanie? I'm going to stop talking now. Any more questions? Okay, so next week we have a lot to cover. Thank you, Nancy. We'll cover Kigos and a couple of other things that we can play with. And I want you to carry a notebook with you, maybe a little tiny one. Doesn't have to be big. Every single day this week. And when you're walking around, just note down a sentence of something you see. It may be anything, like I'm going to write about the gray car in front of my window is blocking my perfect view. Just write something, snap it. Don't think about it, just write it down, and just write sentences around, and we'll put it together. Maybe next week we'll try to put it together, or you can put it together yourself. Remember what we worked with today about taking the adjective, the noun, and just changing it around, how it changed the whole thing. So keep that in mind. And we'll talk about more things next week. But be sure and keep that notebook. Write a sentence down. Look at some classical haiku. Check out Tiny Words on, that's a lot of work, huh? Check out Tiny Words on the internet. And also Haiku Universe. But more important, Tiny Words, Haiku Universe, it gets kind of silly sometimes. And thank you for coming. share your haiku with us next week. I'd love to hear and see what you're doing. And tell your friends to come.
Yeah, you can still sign up for the remaining classes. So, and also just as a reminder, I'll send this recording to everybody if you'd like to review any of the material. Also, we'll be sending out a PDF of the information that Genie share screened today. So you have a copy of that. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me or Genie. And yeah, we will be happy to help you out. Otherwise, thank you very much for joining us. And I hope to see you all next week. Thank
Oh
you.
yeah, I'm putting a little more now. Yahoo.com, so you could email me, and then the tinywords.com up there.
Okay, I can include that in the email too.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Namaste.
Okay, thank you everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Night.